All right, everyone. Welcome once again on this Thursday to Trending Topics, where we're talking about spring cleaning. Okay. We've been talking about all things spring for the month of April, of course, very appropriate. And I thought, let's finish out the month with something that I think a lot of us do, right? Spring cleaning. And you might say to yourself, well, we are here in a dietitian class, so we're cleaning. What are we doing? Maybe you join our classes to take a break from cleaning, but we're going to have a fun spin on it. So just bear with me here as we move along with some spring cleaning. Okay, so what are we going to be talking about? First thing we're going to go over is clean eating. Okay, a lot of you may have heard this word before. We're going to break down as to what it really means. Is that the right direction to go? All of those types of things. Okay, so we'll have a big chat about that. Then we're just going to keep going with that flow and talk about spring cleaning of your diet. And then lastly, yes, we are dietitians, but we of course all clean. So I just wanted to share some cleaning resources that we have at Giant and Martin's in our stores. Just little tidbits in the way of that. So let's start with clean eating. Once again, I feel like it's one of those popping, trending type words that are out there. And sometimes those words can seem a little overwhelming or intimidating for lots of reasons. They can seem really extreme, they could seem just confusing. What is it really? So let's break this down, okay, in terms of what does it mean when somebody says, well, I eat clean or I'm into clean eating. So, really, at the end of the day, what clean eating means is that we are choosing foods closest to their natural states. Okay, so whole foods, which you'll see down here at the bottom what I mean, different examples of whole foods. But then also, as we are choosing those types of foods, we are also choosing to minimize foods that are heavily processed. And that, of course, is going to include foods with a lot of added sugar, artificial colors, excessive sodium, and things of that nature. And I really want to highlight that because the word processed, okay, I think if you've been hanging out with me for a while, you've heard me say this before, but the word processed gets a really bad reputation. But it doesn't always have to be that way, okay? So yes, of course, we would love to get a lot of foods in their natural state, like the bottom ones here, fruits and vegetables and whatnot. But if we're thinking about some whole grains, like whole wheat bread, that's processed, okay? But it's not processed in the negative way that we think about. It's just processed to take wheat and transform it into bread. The definition of process is when you take one thing and you change it, even just a little bit. Does that mean that bread is bad? No, or pasta or rice. Things are just altered slightly to be transformed into ways that we typically consume them. Where we want to be careful with the word processed is that latter half of this statement here, okay? We want to be watching those foods that are processed with a lot of added sugar, the colorings, and the excessive sodium, okay? But what do we really want to be focused on with clean eating? Once again, the fruits and vegetables, the whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fat. So whenever we think about those words down there on the bottom, what does that sound like? Okay, if you don't really know that phrase of clean eating, what do those suggestions really make you think of? I listed them out here of what to me it makes me think of. To me, it just makes me think about balanced eating, which is what we talk about day in and day out here in our classes, right? So we don't necessarily need to go around and say to folks, well, I only eat clean or this, that, or whatever. Really, what we're doing if we're practicing clean eating is practicing balanced eating. Okay. Um, so once again, something we chat about in our classes every day, that balanced eating. But then also, if we think about what I mentioned, the lean proteins, the healthy fats, the fruits and vegetables, the whole grains, that in a nutshell is also the Mediterranean diet. Okay. We've talked a lot about the Mediterranean diet over the past few years, but if you are new with us, next month, Jenna and I in our coffee chat class will be really breaking down the Mediterranean diet because the month of May is Mediterranean Diet Month. Okay. So if you want to learn more about that, check us out in May for the coffee chat class. But then also guiding stars. Okay, once again, if you've been hanging with us for a bit, you probably know all about guiding stars. But if you are new and need a little bit of a refresher, all of those things that we mentioned in clean eating really follow suit with a program that we have in our stores called Guiding Stars. So I just wanted to go through that here a minute again, because like I said, sometimes I think that we incorporated into our classes, but maybe we haven't broken it down for you guys in a while. So this could be a refresher. This could be some new information. But Guiding Stars is essentially a nutrition program that we have in our stores. It's based off of an algorithm to give products a score or a star of 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so this shows the process of how that is done. Step one, the algorithm is going to read the nutrition labels for every product in the grocery store. Step two, based off of that nutrition label, then it measures, okay? It objectively measures each product using established nutrition science, and then a rating is given. So if a product meets the transparent nutrition criteria, it earns 1, 2, or 3 star ratings based off of that, and it's going to be good, better, or best nutrition. So you can see the icons down here, what they look like, the good, the better, the best. And above that is that algorithm that they are using to show you what they're basing the criteria off of. So products are going to earn more stars if they have more things like vitamins, minerals, fiber, whole grains, omega-3, all of what we just talked about being in that clean eating, right? And then less of the things that we want to try to avoid as we eat cleaner. So saturated fat, trans fat, sodium and sugar, and additives. All right. So if you look for the stars and you go for more products that have stars, you're going to be spring cleaning your diet without even really noticing it. All right. So where can you find the guiding stars in our stores? You can find them in the actual stores in the middle here on the shelf tags, okay? On our brand products, you can actually find them right on the package, or over on the left, if you are one of our online customers, you can also find them on our website when you're shopping, as well as our savory site too, okay? Our savory recipes also get guiding star ratings. So lots of ways to find the stars, lots of ways to make sure that we are spring cleaning our diet by getting in those better things and minimizing some of those things like the sugar and the sodium. Okay. Now, although we might talk about these things in our classes all the time, and you might be like, yeah, I know this stuff, I could teach class for you. The question is, do you take action on them? Okay. How can we take action in terms of cleaning up our diet? This time of year, I mentioned it in the beginning, a lot of us do a lot of spring cleaning, whether it be in our house, or some of you mentioned in our yards this weekend, you're going to be doing stuff like that. But how can we really take action to spring clean our diet? So we have to start with the base, okay? We can't facilitate our body as well as we potentially could without cleaning up the base of what's going into our body. So that would be really going through the steps of decluttering and reorganizing your kitchen, starting with, well, you could start with any of these, but the 3 ones that we're going to focus on today being your pantry, your fridge, and your freezer. Do we want to deep clean those things with actual cleaning equipment? 100%. It's always good to do that too, a couple times a year. But we want to be actually digging deep into the food that are in those things to reorganize. Okay. So I saw this somewhere, and I've always kind of take this along with me when I am cleaning out my fridge, freezer, or whatever. And that is the notion of, get rid of the foods that aren't serving you. And when I say that they're not serving you, they're not helping you. They're not really giving you much of a benefit. Or maybe, hey, they're just expired. They're time to go. Okay. So foods that might not be serving you, as I just mentioned, Might be some foods that are in your freezer, your fridge, whatever, your pantry that are expired. My pantry can sometimes be a lost hole of products and things that I just kind of forget about. I maybe got for a recipe and I don't get back to it. So let's get rid of those expired products. We talk a lot about expired spices, and that's really something that's not serving you, because the purpose behind spices is to flavor your food. Okay. And we, in this nutrition realm that we are right now in these classes, we want to flavor our food so we can use less of those things like added sodium and added sugar. Okay. We are not going to get the maximum amount of flavor from those spices if they're expired. That's why there is an expiration date. Okay. This is a big one in my fridge for sure. Anybody else in this boat? Half empty bottles of condiments, right? Like, and I'm not talking about the everyday ones. Like, we go through ketchup like crazy in my house. That's not one. But like some random salad dressing, or I don't know. I find all sorts of stuff in my fridge. So let's get rid of those. In your freezer, yes, things have a great long shelf life in your freezer, but a lot of things get freezer burnt too. So we want to toss those. Or just simply products that you never use. Okay, not that I want us to be wasteful, but maybe you tried something, you don't like it. Here we are, 4 months later, you still haven't gone back to it. Let's get it out of there so we can restock with some better items. Okay. So let's restock with purpose after we have, deep cleaned, like physically cleaned, and then toss out those products that aren't serving you. Restock with purpose with those items that we mentioned a little bit ago. Okay. The fruits and vegetables, whether that is fresh, frozen, or canned. If we're doing canned, we want to make sure that we're doing it without the added sugar. So avoiding the syrups, getting things packed in their natural juices. Whole grains, so things like whole grain breads and pastas, oats, quinoa, those lean proteins, like fish or lean beef, boneless and skinless chicken, beans and lentils, and the healthy fats. All right, canola oil, olive oil, those are my two go-tos. Nuts and seeds, nut butters, all things that we want to be putting back into that clean kitchen so we can be cleaning up our diet, right? So I'm going to share some images here on the next couple slides that you can find if you follow us on social media. All right. And I will show you our social media handles here in a moment. But we're on social media a lot. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, you need to follow us because you're going to see cool recommendations like this from our team. So I wanted to show you pantry, freezer, and fridge recommendations from our team. We're going to start off with Joni here. She did a great layout of her top 3 pantry staples. Okay, so once again, we've cleaned out our pantry. What are we going to restock with? Joni's 3 go-tos would be hemp hearts. I know that they are a fan favorite for a lot of girls on our team. Lentils are another big one. Jenna is all about the lentils. Kylene is all about the hemp heart. And then I think it's me, Joni, and Charlotte. We're all about the 90-second rice packets down here at the bottom. Okay, but all of these fit that criteria that we just talked about: whole grains, protein, healthy fats, things that we want to have in our pantry. You can also see that they all get guiding star ratings as well. I threw in a couple, those were Joni's, all great options. I threw in a couple more that I always love to have in my pantry. I talk about it a lot. You probably get tired of me saying it, but canned salmon. I just used canned salmon for a community presentation the other day. We did an avocado toast bar, and we were talking a lot about mood boosting foods, including omega-3. So I had them put a little bit of canned salmon on their avocado toast. Don't yuck the yum until you try it, okay? It's a lot of them loved it and said, I'm always looking for different ideas for avocado toast, and that can be a great affordable way to include salmon in your day. Pantry staples, not going to go, bad in a week if it was fresh in your fridge. So, big one on that. The whole grains, of course, whole wheat pasta is there on the right. If you have a bit of a sweet tooth, but we don't really want to get into that added sugar avenue, I would definitely recommend our cocoa roasted almonds for a good healthy fat to put into our pantry. And then probably my favorite pantry staple is the one here on the bottom right. I love having diced tomatoes. These specifically are our no salt added ones, and I love that they're already flavored with basil, garlic, and oregano. Speaking of herbs, tomorrow morning, Jenna and I will be on Coffee Chat. We're talking all about herbs. So join us tomorrow morning for that one at 9 if you're not already signed up. All right, let's move on to Charlotte here. Charlotte has some great recommendations of what to restock your fridge with, ones that she keeps in her fridge all the time. Of course, a good Greek yogurt, our brand. We have the non-fat plain as well as whole fat, whichever one that you prefer. But the big important piece of it is that it is a Greek yogurt. So it's going to be higher in protein to help keep us full. This one I love as well. I'm definitely on the same page with Charlotte about that. And that is the frittata blend of vegetables. Um, so it is all three different colors of bell peppers there. And then also red onion is in that top left corner. You guys know that I do not really enjoy chopping up vegetables. So I love having this in my fridge too to throw into omelets, into a fried rice dish, into a casserole. Good choice here by Charlotte with that one. And then lastly, at the bottom, you can never go wrong with having a bag of spinach, whether that is to make an actual salad, throw into a soup, once again, a casserole, things of that nature, but a great one to have on hand. Here are some other ones that I like to keep in my fridge. A big one that I talk about, I feel like a lot, is our fresh cut fruit. Doesn't matter what kind it is, but we go through so much fruit in my house. And I love that it's already cut and done for you. This is a picture of our Lua bowls, which I feel like are on sale all of the time. And you might look at it and be like, that's a really big bowl of fruit. But if we're supposed to eat fruit at every meal, you're gonna go through this fruit, right? Okay, so good one there. In terms of salad, I am a big chopped salad kit kind of gal, especially Caesar. That is where it's at for me. So I love our Taste of Inspirations line of that salad kit I have in there. Don't let the fat content scare you on the back, right? That is the dressing. Number one, you don't have to use the dressing. Number two, you get to use it in the quantity that you want. So keep that in mind with the salad kit. Some of you might be like, oh man, deli meat there at the bottom. But I'm being realistic with you guys here. That's something we, of course, keep in our fridge. We love sandwiches and stuff like that. But I wanted to show you that we do have lower sodium options in the way of our deli case, from meats to cheeses. So that can be a good one if you are looking to cut sodium a bit, but still want some deli meat in your day. Be mindful though that those are going to go bad more quickly because it is lower in sodium. So you gotta use those up quick, maybe not buy as much at one time. And then on the bottom right, this isn't one that you would find in the refrigerated section of our stores, but you would put in the fridge later, right? I love a seltzer in the fridge. Just to like have something fun and different. I do enjoy a soda from time to time. So rather than going for a soda, if I just want that bubbly type feel, then I can go for the seltzer. Or my daughter loves to make fun drinks, right? Like she loves to mix orange juice with a seltzer or something like that. Just something a little different than water and whatnot. So we usually keep seltzers on hand, and lemon is probably the most versatile one to use. Okay. Now we have Jenna here with her freezer recommendations. These are all wonderful and all very Jenna, especially the first one. She is 100% all about these O'Brien style hash browns, which I will say I love them too, minus the onions. I'm not an onion in my potatoes gal. Peppers, sure. But I think that this is a great freezer staple. It's just chopped up potatoes, right? And some veggies. So a good one there. I am, of course, full force with frozen fruit. I love frozen fruit in my freezer as well for desserts, for oatmeal, for snacking, which I'll show you another one in a minute for that. Um, and then lastly, going along with the canned salmon, if we want to, not have to worry about salmon going bad in our fridge, get the frozen salmon. This is one that's always in my freezer as well. They are individually wrapped, so you don't have to thaw out the whole bag. You can just take out what you want if you're cooking for one or two. So some great recommendations there from Jenna. Okay, here are some freezer finds for me that I really love. So I wanted to show you these bite-sized fruits over here on the left. If you are someone who likes to just have a little sweet snack, the weather is, of course, beautiful right now. Maybe instead of going for something like ice cream or a popsicle, we could just snack on the frozen fruit. I know a lot of folks freeze blueberries or grapes to do the same thing, but here we have it for you in bite-sized pieces. I always have frozen shrimp in my freezer. It's a quick and easy protein, really tasty. You can do so many different things with it. Along the line of that with protein, a plant-based protein, we have shelled edamame in our freezer section, also a good one there. And then I am, of course, a really big fan of frozen vegetables, all kinds, but especially our cauliflower that you can put in anything and everything. All right, now, like I said, you need to follow us on social media if you're on there. You haven't already. You saw that Joni talked about pantry, Charlotte talked about the fridge, Jenna talked about the freezer. In May, we're going to be talking about what I would put in a picnic basket. So, yeah, we're kind of getting out of the kitchen a little bit, but you want to be spring cleaning anywhere you go with your diet, right? So, check back on social for those picnic basket pics as well as so many other great posts to come. On Instagram, you can search the handles there that I have. If you're a Facebook person, just search Giant Food Stores or Martin Food Markets, and it should come up that way too. All right. Now, we're just going to finish our session up here with some cleaning products. Like I said, I know we're dietitians. We talk about food, but we all clean too. So I just wanted to bring up some items that we have in our store. If you are interested in some of our Nature's Promise products that are free of synthetic fragrances as well as dyes, okay? So some great items here that I know a lot of folks on our team use as well. Everything from a multi-surface cleaner to toilet bowl cleaner and tub and tile cleaner. Great items there. I specifically wanted to highlight the dish soaps as well. Right now, they are on sale, at least for today. The sales are going to change tomorrow, so I don't know if they will still be on sale tomorrow, but the dishwashing soaps, you can see here, once again, there's no synthetic fragrances. So these are fragrances with essential oils you'll see on the ingredient list. So check out those while they're on sale for the rest of today, as well as laundry. Oh my goodness, guys. If there's one thing I really dislike in this world, it's laundry. Just goes on and on forever, every day, right? But great laundry detergent there, as well as fabric softener. This fabric softener. I will say that I grew up with my mom using it and I don't use it now. And I don't know why I don't, but sometimes I'm like, I should. I don't know. Like, should you? That was one of those things that, like I said, it didn't carry over when my mom was doing my laundry to me now doing my laundry. But maybe I should get back into that. Um, and then dryer sheets as well. Okay, so we've got it all. Clean your kitchen, do your laundry, clean your bathroom. But most importantly, what we were talking about today is spring cleaning up our diet. So here I leave you with the smiley face of happy cleaning wherever it may be in your home or in your yard. But most importantly, with our health, right? We only get one body. This is it. So we got to take care of it, not only this time of year, but all year long. But hopefully, with this spring cleaning presentation, you got some inspiration, some motivation to really get in and dig into taking out those foods that don't serve you and restocking with purpose. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was a pleasure. We will get this presentation to you out later so you can check those out. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow morning, Jenna and I, for a really fun coffee chat as always. Bye, guys.